What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another movie review. Today we are talking about probably my favorite of the Mad Maxes. I know, I'm not qualified to talk about Mad Max because I wasn't alive during the original Mad Max series, but I have now gone back and watched them, and the reviews are up on the channel, and you can see what my thoughts are on those. I believe Road Warrior was my favorite of the original three, although the third one did have Tina Turner and some decent stuff going on in there. But overall, I know that those movies are far less superior than Mad Max Fury Road. And anybody hating on Mad Max Fury Road, they're really out of their mind because it's from the mind of the same guy, right? Like, George Miller was trying to make Fury Road back in the 90s, and it only took him until 2015, literally 30 years after the previous film, right? So the third film was Beyond Thunderdome. Pretty sure that came out in 85. So what, 95, 2005, 2015, right? So 2015's Mad Max Fury Road is phenomenal friggin' movie. And I'm not, as somebody that was watching those movies, I watched those for the connection of if there's anything connected, and I guessed back in my first Mad Max video that the guy with the hair is that Immortal Joe. I'm not sure. I've also saw that rumor online, and it wasn't confirmed in the movie, but I wasn't a huge Immortal Joe guy the first time I saw this. This time he kind of grew on me a little bit more, and I don't know if the first time I saw it, maybe the first time I saw it, it was on television and I had commercials and shit. But I actually sat down the other night and watched this thing beginning to end, and it really drew me in, right? Like, I really love Tom Hardy's, monologue at the beginning and how it just opens up, like, and how cinematic it is, right? And he really storyboarded this entire thing like a comic book. And, like the landscapes, the sky, the desolate wasteland around him, bringing back the car from the original movie, right? Like, and they make references to, I was a cop, I was a road warrior, and the car is similar to same car as the one Mel Gibson drove. And, so it's implied that it's the same Mad Max and same guy, but then he would be 30 years older than Mel Gibson was in 85, so I don't know quite if it's the same Max, but it's implied that he is. But to me, it's more like a reboot, right? Like, same world, same idea, but this is what he really wanted to do, even back in the 80s, Like, this is, to me, what George Miller's vision actually was. And he absolutely killed it. And I heard also that the original plan was to film Furiosa and Fury Road back to back. But then once they got into Fury Road, they realized how insanity it was. So they kind of just filmed the one. But, just the landscapes, the shots, it's beautiful cinematography. The shots of and also beautiful sets, right? Like, obviously the set's just the middle of the desert, but the set is actually all these vehicles and how they're all, like, remade from parts, and how they have those pole vaulting dudes and fire, and it's absolutely insane. The dust is really getting kicked up because these cars are really flying through this terrain, and like the war boys and the war rig, and everyone's flying in their cars and shit, and then there's a guy up on a truck with a flame-throwing guitar just playing heavy metal music, and apparently that guy has a whole comic book backstory, like, that you can find out if you want to know more about that guy. It's just insanity, like, and I love that type of world building where, like, if you really fuck with this shit and you want to know more about it, you can, and you will, and like, you'll find out little details about this that are friggin' awesome. The stunts are pretty legit, like doing most everything as practical as possible. Obviously some of it has to be CGI and visual effects and stuff like that, but they filmed a lot of the shit for real and then just painted out, like, the wires. Like, this guy jumping off the back of the truck is legitimately jumping off the back of the truck, but what's not real is that the guy doesn't commit suicide jumping into a vehicle, like, the guy stops in bungees on wires right before he hits, and then they add that explosion, but maybe they filmed that explosion as a second take without the guy there, and then they added the guy to, so it's movie magic still, but it's fucking phenomenal. And then they're all chasing down Charlize Theron, right? So the real big three of this movie are Tom Hardy, Charlize Theron, and Nicholas Hoult. Nicholas Hoult I love as well. He's got Tom Hardy hooked up as a blood bag, right? Like, it's pretty insane to think about the details. And then they drive into like this storm, and it's absolutely unbelievable. You know, the visuals of the thing getting taken away, and he's like, "Oh, what a lovely day! What a lovely, lovely day!" Right? And they use that in all the trailer shots. So just phenomenal stuff. And then eventually, you know, they end up together, and Tom's got this like gardening rake on his face as like a muzzle. Zoe Kravitz is over there, the girl from Transformers 3, and then there's a couple other women there that are also like Immortal Joe's wives, and we find out that Furiosa, Charlize Theron, was taking them away and trying to race away in the fuel truck, his war rig, right? And they're all like slaves to Immortal Joe, so just to get him like, you know, gone. But Nicholas Hoult makes like, he's like got this crazy character arc in this, and Charlize Theron really kills it too with the action and just this character of Furiosa. She's got a metal arm, and then that's what Furiosa is going to be about, is pretty much what happened to Charlize Theron to get her to the point that she is in Fury Road. So I believe we're not going to see anything after Fury Road, so we're just going to see, you know, everything that leads up to Fury Road, and then where they go from there, I'm not sure, but I don't know. I'm curious to see just Chris Hemsworth character. He seems badass, you know, and I like Chris Hemsworth, so I'm there. I will just say one more scene about how good their chemistry is and how little amount of lines Tom Hardy has, but yet how powerful his character is, just with some grunts and like, no, I'll go. You know, like, just little things, and how the mystery of Mad Max. I would really love to see a backstory on Tom Hardy's Mad Max, you know, because I wasn't also in, like, Mel Gibson's fine, and he was good in, he was the best, I believe, in Road Warrior, but Tom Hardy in this movie really made me, like, interested in this character, and, like, why is he so badass, and, you know, I want to know more about him, I want to see more about him, but Charlize Theron is a badass as well, and she's driving the truck, and at one point he just keeps pulling out guns from the middle of anywhere, like just a mountain of guns that he now has in this bag, because this woman just had guns stashed all over her cab of the truck, and I'm like, wow, she's really a smart bitch. But overall, I gave this movie 4 out of 5 stars. So shout out to George Miller, shout out to Charlize Theron, shout out to Tom Hardy, Nicholas Hoult, you know, phenomenal. And now I gotta go see on Friday when this comes, well, no, not when this video comes out, but this coming up Friday, Furiosa comes out with Anya Taylor-Joy and Chris Hemsworth, also directed by George Miller, now getting up into his 70s, but the man still got it, sharp as a tack, I'll give him credit. So check out this movie if you haven't, even if you're not into it, right? Because I was not into the Mad Max stuff. And then I watched this movie and I was like, you know what? Even if you're not into the War Boys and the Blood Bag and the Immortan Joe and the Wasteland and that type of stuff, you cannot tell me, watching this movie, that it is not beautiful, right? Like, there are shots in this film, even if it's a wasteland and even if it's desolate and terrible, it's shot beautifully. And they have really thought through what and where and why is this thing being shot, you know, and it's beautiful stuff. Shout out to the crew, the VFX artists, the cinematographers. George Miller, you're a beast. I will be seeing Furiosa for you this weekend. Comment below your score out of 5 stars. Check out my other social medias, Letterboxd, and all those in the description below. Smash that like button, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you beautiful people in the next video.